The dog abandoned his usual sleeping spot and moved to the baby's door. 9 nights in a row. They called it sweet. They called it protective. They never once asked, what does he know that we don't? Mira and Seth Lindquist had owned Bo for 6 years. He was a mixed-breed rescue of indeterminate ancestry. Medium-sized, brown, with a face that had always looked older than he was, and eyes that their veterinarian had once called unusually attentive. He slept on a cedar mat at the foot of their bed. He had slept on that mat for 5 years without deviation. Their daughter, Elsa, was 4 months old. In the 3rd week of January, Bo stopped sleeping on the mat. He took himself every night to the hallway outside Elsa's nursery. He lay against the door. In the morning, he was there when Mira came to get Elsa. Every morning. They called it guardian behavior. They sent a photo to Seth's sister with a heart emoji. They noted it in the kind of diary new parents keep for the first few months and never look at again. On the 9th night, Elsa cried at 2:30 a.m. Not unusually. This was a 4-month-old. Nocturnal unpredictability was the whole job. Mira went to get her, stepped over Bo, opened the nursery door. The room was cold. Not dramatically cold, just a degree or two off from what the thermostat should have maintained. Mira picked up Elsa, who was fussy in the vague way of an infant who has been mildly uncomfortable for longer than she should have been. She noticed the window was fine. The heat register was functional, but there was something in the quality of the room that made her stand in it for a moment longer than she needed to. She brought Elsa to the bedroom. Bo followed and lay beside the bedroom door. In the morning, Seth did a walkthrough and found nothing visible. But Mira had developed over the course of 9 days of watching Bo choose that door, a feeling she couldn't articulate beyond. He knows something. She Googled dog sleeping outside baby's room repeatedly at 9 a.m. The second result mentioned radon. She ordered the test kit same-day delivery. It arrived at noon. She placed it in the nursery. The reading came back at 48 hours. The nursery had a radon concentration of 8.7 picocuries per liter. The EPA action threshold, the level at which remediation is urgently recommended, is 4 picocuries per liter. Elsa's room was running at more than double the safe threshold. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Radon is a colorless, odorless, tasteless radioactive gas that seeps from soil and rock formations into buildings, through foundation cracks, gaps around pipes, and construction joints. It is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. It has no smell, no taste, no visible presence. No standard home alarm detects it. But it does have a chemical signature. Radon decay products, polonium, lead, bismuth, release microscopic charged particles that attach to dust and air molecules in concentrations that alter the air's particulate composition in ways that are, to a dog's olfactory system, perceptible. The radon mitigation specialist who came to the house the following week, a man named Peter Haugen, had been in the business for 14 years. He said, "I've had a few cases where people found their problem because of the dog." He looked at Bo, who was sitting in the hallway observing the installation process. "They're smelling the decay products," he said. In a room with accumulating radon, the particle composition is different from the rest of the house. Not all dogs react, but some do. You watch their patterns closely enough, they'll tell you something. Mira had been watching Bo's patterns for 9 nights. She had called it sweet. Has your dog ever changed their sleeping pattern around your baby's room? Or chosen a spot near your child for no apparent reason? Consistently, insistently, night after night? Tell us. These details matter. The mitigation system was installed in 2 days. The nursery was tested again at 30 days post-installation. The reading came back at 0.9 picocuries per liter. Elsa is now 2. She sleeps in her room. She is healthy. Bo is back on his cedar mat at the foot of the bed. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. He has not moved back to the hallway door. He doesn't need to. The room is safe now. He knew it before the test confirmed it, and he knew when the test was no longer necessary. That is the part that stays with Mira, not the discovery, the certainty on both ends. Next, the night a golden retriever curled beside a newborn and the family finally understood what this dog had been doing since day one. Seth had the radon mitigation specialist walk him through the science in detail. Radon gas itself is inert. The dog was not smelling radon directly. What Bo was detecting were radon's decay products, polonium-218 and polonium-214, which are electrically charged alpha-emitting particles that attach themselves to dust, smoke, and particulate matter in the air. In a room with elevated radon concentration, the air carries a measurably different particulate signature than the rest of the house. The specialist said he could not say definitively what Bo was sensing. The research on dogs detecting radon decay products was limited and largely anecdotal. But he had worked in 14 markets across 9 years, and in 3 separate cases, a dog's behavioral change had been what led the homeowner to test in the first place. Seth did the math. Right on at 8.7 picocuries per liter, continuous exposure over weeks or months, in a newborn whose lungs were still developing. The EPA framing around radon uses lifetime exposure risk calculations. The harm is cumulative, not immediate. But cumulative harms compound. They had a 4-month-old in that room every night. The mitigation system cost $1,100. The test kit cost $22. 9 nights of watching a dog choose a door over his familiar cedar mat was the reason they ran the test. Mira ordered a radon test kit for her sister's house the same week. Her sister had a 2-year-old and a Labrador who had recently started sleeping in the hallway near the nursery door. Some patterns, once you know to look for them, become very hard to miss.